We're going in 3, 2, 1.
Yo, what up, everyone? Tay here, and just a shorter video for you guys today. And I'm actually right in the middle of editing a much longer video talking about some stuff with the Fantastic Four and Avengers Doomsday that will probably be out tomorrow or Monday. But I had to stop editing on that and do this side video because some very big news just came out regarding some very big characters that we could see coming up in Avengers Doomsday. So yeah, I just had to put a pause on that other video to discuss this real quick, but still keep an eye out for that longer video coming out because I'm stoked on that one. I think you guys will like it. And like I said, it'll be coming out tomorrow or Monday. So yeah, make sure you're subscribed and have your notifications turned on so you are notified when that comes out. And then also before we get into it, I should just say we are going to be talking about details from Captain America Brave New World, so there will be spoilers just in case you haven't seen the movie yet. Which, speaking of Captain America Brave New World, I did actually drop a 40-minute video 2 days ago getting into all sorts of specifics about the movie and how it will tie into Avengers Doomsday and the new Avengers team, and also a bunch of X-Men stuff and Multiversal War stuff. So yeah, it is a good one. You should check it out if you missed it. And then lastly, don't forget to watch until the end of the video because I do have just a couple of super thanks questions to get to from that video. Which, as always, remember that if you would like to leave a super thanks with a question or a comment on this video, that those are always greatly appreciated and that I will read and respond to those in the next video.
Stephen Strange, you are now called before the Illuminati.
Your alternate self created the Illuminati to make difficult decisions that no one else could.
Alright, so let's get into this big Avengers Doomsday news that directly relates to what we saw happen in Captain America Brave New World. Because in a recent interview with The Wrap, Captain America Brave New World director Julius Ona teased that the film's post-credit scene is actually meant to be teasing the Illuminati. And when I saw this, I was happily surprised because this is something I've talked about in several past videos over the past 6 months or so. But I thought I should probably talk about it because I also saw a lot of people online that were confused about this, as everyone was wondering how exactly that scene with Samuel Stearns was teasing that, how it was teasing the Illuminati. So let me break that down as far as I can tell. Because when the interviewer asked this question, they said that they had heard that the Illuminati were originally supposed to make an actual appearance in that post-credit scene, but that for some reason they were then removed and the scene was purposefully left more vague. Now, there could be several reasons why Marvel Studios ultimately decided to not show the Illuminati team itself in this post-credit scene. One reason is likely because at the time of filming this scene, Stephen McFeely and the Russos were earlier on in the stages of redeveloping the Avengers Doomsday script, so maybe Marvel Studios didn't want to get too specific with exact details in case elements of the script changed. And then, if the Illuminati are going to show up in the upcoming Avengers films, then another reason that they might not want to include them in the post-credit scene of that movie is that maybe Marvel Studios still don't have the exact cast and the team members quite nailed down yet. Because we know that when the studio was working on Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, that the team lineup for the Illuminati of the 838 universe actually ended up changing multiple times even while filming, and that some of the characters in that scene were actually chosen based on which actors were available. That's why back when, before Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness came out, there were initially those early rumors and reports circling about characters like Ian McKellen's Magneto, Doctor Doom, Daniel Craig as Balder, and even Tom Cruise as a variant of Iron Man, because those were all actors and characters that Marvel Studios were trying to nail down for those parts, but in the end, those actors weren't able to make it work with their schedules. And in my last video that I put out just a few days ago, I said that the Brave New World post-credit scene seemed to be teasing the coming multiversal war. And while I do think that that is the case, in light of this new report about the Illuminati, I do think I have to update my statement on that a little bit. Because in that Brave New World post-credit scene, we see Samuel Stearns talking to Sam, and he's warning him about a coming multiversal invasion from who he refers to as the Others. Now, initially, I said that the Others could just be a reference to the different variants of heroes and villains that we could see invade the MCU 616 universe during the multiversal war that we'll see take place in Avengers Doomsday. And while I still think that that multiversal war is going to happen, in light of these new comments, I'm starting to think that the Others that Samuel Stearns mentions is actually a reference to the Illuminati. You know, that they are the Others who Samuel Stearns was warning Sam about, and that's how this post-credit scene is teasing the Illuminati. And I actually did a long theory video on exactly this topic back at the end of December, just before Christmas. Because for years now, there have been numerous and repeated reports that Marvel Studios have big plans for either an Illuminati project or that they would just somehow use the Illuminati in the plot of the upcoming Avengers films. In fact, after Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness came out and we were introduced to the Illuminati from the 838 universe, Marvel Studios producer Richie Palmer actually said in interviews after that movie that we would likely see a more important version of the Illuminati team in the future, but that team would have a different lineup from the version we saw in Multiverse of Madness. And one of the reasons I initially did the last video on the Illuminati back around Christmas is because Alex Perez of Cosmic Circus dropped a scoop saying that he heard from his sources that Marvel Studios do have plans to bring back a new version of the Illuminati in Phase 6, but that it would actually be a multiversal version of the team that would include characters from various different universes. And one of the theories that I discussed in that past video from December is that maybe the main antagonists that we'll see during the multiversal war in Avengers Doomsday will actually end up being this multiversal Illuminati team. Because for a long time now, we've been talking about how besides Secret Wars, that one of the main influences for Avengers Doomsday will likely be Time Runs Out, which was the main story in Hickman's Incursion saga for the lead up to Secret Wars in the comics. And one of the central plot points in Time Runs Out actually revolves around the Avengers versus the Illuminati. And this all tied back to what was happening at the time with the incursions. Because in the comics, when an incursion occurred, one of the few ways to stop it was to destroy the Earth of the other universe, because if one of the colliding Earths was destroyed, it would end up sparing both universes. And because of this, when the incursion started happening on Earth 616, Reed Richards and the Illuminati built world-destroying antimatter weapons that were capable of destroying entire planets, but they said that they were only to be used as a last resort in case an incursion occurred that they couldn't stop. And of course, Steve Rogers, who was working with the team at that time, vehemently disagreed with this tactic because he said that if they built such a weapon, that it would only be a matter of time until they came up with an excuse to use it. And this ended up leading to a war between the Illuminati and Steve Rogers' Avengers team, with Steve Rogers directing the Avengers on a mission to find and bring the Illuminati to justice. And the theory that I discussed in that past video was that maybe that element of the Time Runs Out comic could be adapted into the plot of Avengers Doomsday, but instead of it being the Illuminati of Earth 616, it could instead be a multiversal version of the Illuminati that consists of characters who are from other universes and have come together to stop the incursions by any means necessary. And maybe we could see this multiversal Illuminati team facing off against Sam Wilson's Avengers from the MCU 616 universe, instead of it being Steve Rogers' Avengers like it was in the comics. Because again, if Hickman's work in the comics from the Incursion saga is going to be one of the main influences for the upcoming Avengers films, it really would be kind of crazy for some version of the Illuminati to not be involved, because they were basically like the main characters of Hickman's whole Incursions and Secret Wars story in the comics. So if what Julius Onus said is true, and that the post-credit scene of Brave New World is actually hinting at the arrival of the Illuminati into the MCU, then one possibility is basically what I've been kind of talking about, and that a multiversal Illuminati team could be introduced as basically the villains, or I should say the antagonists, in Avengers Doomsday. Now, if we do see some kind of multiversal Illuminati team introduced in the upcoming Avengers films, they could have several different roles, even as antagonists, in the movie. And one of the things I really like about this idea of the Illuminati being a team that's made up of multiversal characters is it opens up so many possibilities for which characters could be members of the team, and also what their goal could be that they are trying to achieve in the movie. Because either way, I would imagine that just like the different versions of the Illuminati we saw in Hickman's comics, that an Illuminati team in the MCU would also be trying to stop the incursions. But the bigger question would be, are they willing to destroy other universes or worlds to do so? Because like I said, that's how there became a divide between the Illuminati and the Avengers in the comics, is when the Illuminati started to flirt with the idea of destroying other worlds in order to save their own. And something we've heard tons of rumors about for months now is that Doctor Doom is going to have some kind of team of variants working for him in the upcoming Avengers movies. And the main one we've heard is rumors that it could be a villainous version of the Avengers, but then there's also been rumors and reports that it could also be a multiversal version of the Masters of Evil. However, something I discussed in that past video on this topic is that maybe that team could instead be this multiversal Illuminati team, and that Doctor Doom could actually be the team's leader. Because like I mentioned, Doctor Doom was actually one of the characters that Michael Waldron initially wanted to be a part of the 838 version of the Illuminati team in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. And on top of that, we have also seen Doctor Doom as a member of the Dark Illuminati, as well as different multiversal versions of the Illuminati in the comics. So it's not like it would be a big stretch for Doctor Doom to be a part of this team in the MCU. And another thing I also talked about in that video is how maybe Doctor Strange and Clea could be on this team as well, and how they could be on the team either with Doctor Doom or in place of Doctor Doom. Which I'm not going to get into all the different theories and ways that all of that could play out, because I've already delved into tons of details on all of that with Doctor Doom and Doctor Strange and how they could be a part of this team in that video I released back at Christmas. So if you are interested in hearing a much longer and more detailed deep dive into all of that, I'd really just recommend checking that video out, because it's all about this exact topic. So yeah, when I drop this video, I will make sure that that one is linked at the top of the description down below in case any of you want to watch it. But one last thing I will say on all this, by Marvel Studios introducing a new multiversal version of the Illuminati in Avengers Doomsday, it could open the door for so many awesome characters to either finally be introduced or finally be brought back. And that could even include some of the characters that were rumored to be on the Illuminati team in Multiverse of Madness, like Ian McKellen as Magneto, or Daniel Craig as Thor's brother Balder, or even Tom Cruise as Superior Iron Man. I mean, it really could be like an all-time awesome lineup if Marvel Studios chose the right characters. Now, before I go, there is one other possibility that I should probably mention, and that is that Marvel Studios' initial plan could have been to use Captain America Brave New World to actually introduce the Illuminati from the MCU 616 universe. You know, that maybe the original plan was to have 2 post-credit scenes, and that the one with Samuel Stearns where he gave Sam the warning about the multiversal catastrophe could have been the first post-credit scene, and then maybe there would have been a second post-credit scene where we actually see Sam assembling the Illuminati. However, I just gotta say that in my opinion, I think the whole concept of the Illuminati being a multiversal team makes more sense with where we are currently at in the MCU than the Illuminati being a team from the MCU 616 universe. Like I said, at least at this point in time. Because for one, it makes way more sense for Sam to assemble the new Avengers team than it does the Illuminati. And also another thing is, up to this point, there haven't been any hints or references in the MCU to set up the Illuminati for the 616 universe. But there's plenty of ways that a multiversal version of the team could be introduced and make sense. Plus, even though I'm sure that this Illuminati team that's being talked about will have very different characters than the lineup of the original team from the comics, I do think it's important that the team still have at least 1 or 2 of the same characters. And at this point in the MCU, that wouldn't be possible because none of the characters who are a part of the original team in the comics are even in the MCU 616 universe. Because Tony Stark and T'Challa are dead, Xavier and Black Bolt don't exist in the 616 universe, at least not yet, and then Doctor Strange is off-world, and Reed Richards hasn't made his way over yet. But if we saw a multiversal version of the team, then it's possible we could see variants of some of those original characters, and it's also possible that Doctor Strange could be a member since he's already out traveling the multiverse trying to stop the incursions. So yeah, while I do think that a multiversal version of the team makes more sense and seems more likely, I still thought that I should at least mention the 616 team as a possibility. And you know, if we do see a multiversal version of the team introduced, then that could be one of the things that could pave the way for a 616 version of the team to assemble and exist after the multiverse saga is over, and characters like Charles Xavier and Reed Richards will also presumably exist in the Prime MCU universe. So yeah, you guys let me know who you would like to see as members of a multiversal Illuminati team in the comments down below. And let's wrap this thing up because I still have a whole nother much longer video that I have to get finished editing when I'm done with this one. So yeah, I hope you guys like this one. Make sure to like and share it if you did. But don't go anywhere just yet because I do still have a few super thanks questions to get to. So don't go anywhere and let's jump into those.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alright, so because I just barely dropped my last video, there's only 2 super thanks to get to in today's video. And the first one we have is $5 from Paul Sanford. Thank you very much as always, Paul. Really appreciate it. And then we also have 5 from Hohenzoller 3000. And this one says, have you ever thought about that the real 616 Ant-Man died in the quantum realm? Because there has been much confusion in that scene with the Infinite Ant-Man in Ant-Man Quantumania. Maybe from that point on, we've been following the 617 Ant-Man, and that's the reason something felt weird for him as he came back to the 616 universe. Another point for an incursion. Thanks and greetings from Germany. Awesome, thanks man, appreciate it. And yeah, I don't think that's how it worked because I just don't think there would be much point for them to do that unless they already had a specific storyline in mind for where Ant-Man was going to go in the upcoming Avengers movies. And if I remember right, those weren't actually multiversal versions of Ant-Man that actually existed in other universes. They were just probabilities of what different Ant-Man characters could like in different universes. Now maybe I'm off on that, but I'm pretty sure that's how it worked. But I get what you're saying, because that scene did have so many different versions of Scott Lang in it. There are points where you're like, wait, which one's the real Scott? So yeah, I get what you're saying, man. So yeah, thank you very much to both of you guys. Really appreciate it. And to all of you watching, remember that if you would like to leave a super thanks with a question or a comment on this video, that those really do help out the channel a lot, and I really do appreciate them, and that I will read and respond to those in the next video. So yeah, thank you very much, you guys. I hope you liked this one. Check out the last video from a few days ago if you missed it, and I will be back tomorrow or the next day with the next one.